Olá, muito boa noite. Boa noite, pessoal. Can you hear me, guys? You hear me? All right. I don't know if you are. You know, let me just start here too. Ok, quem tá aí, levanta a mão. Say hello. I want to know who is here with me tonight. I'm here with my new hair. Tô aqui com meu cabelinho novo. Boa noite para vocês aí no Instagram também. E aí, pessoal, come on. Pode chegar, pode chegar. Essa é a nossa aula de terça-feira à noite. This is our Tuesday night class. Today we're going to talk about the present perfect and how we translate the present perfect to Portuguese. Yeah, I'm gonna explain why translating present perfect word by word, literally doesn't work. Also, I'm gonna tell you when to use the present perfect in Portuguese and when you should use the past. Okay, the simple past in Portuguese, what we call pretérito perfeito. And I'm going to teach you to say some natural sentences using the present perfect. Okay, so we are going to start. But before, I'd like to know who is here. So say hi. If you're watching this here on Instagram, guys, this class is happening on YouTube right now. So we if you want to have a better experience, come to YouTube, okay? Hello. So I'm so happy with my new hair. Just wanted to show you guys because I was really upset with my hair. Now I love it. Hope you like it too. Okay, so where are you guys from? Type. Remember that this class, it needs some activities from your part, So this class requires that you guys comment in the comment section because this is how we're gonna interact. This is an interactive class. Otherwise, I could just record a video, just talking to the camera and then post on Instagram or on YouTube. But this is a class and I need the participation, okay? I need the engagement. I need you guys talking to me, okay? So write your questions, make comments, and answer the questions that I'm going to ask. Deal? And also, if you're just joining us here, if you're here, click on the like button. Beleza? Just click on the like button. It's important that I know if you're enjoying this class or not, okay? All right, so literally translation, it can work sometimes, but it's not always good, okay? Because sometimes it is going to not sound entirely correct. Sometimes it's gonna sound a little bit weird, okay? So some translation can be grammatically correct, but it sounds weird in terms of understanding of the meaning, okay? So if you translate English literally to Portuguese, probably Brazilians will understand you, but they will notice that you're not fluent, that you are not able to use the language the way we are supposed to. Okay, so now I have a question for you and for you here. Have you ever said something that in Portuguese that was grammatically correct but sounded weird, a little bit weird, when you said that? Tell me. Have you ever said something that sounded weird, or that people was like, what did you mean? Well, the main issue here regarding to the present perfect and Portuguese, it's because when you guys, they're English speakers, You use a lot, you use present perfect a lot, you know? You use present perfect a lot. And we actually don't in Portuguese. We have a similar structure. I'm going to share my screen with you, but we don't use it a lot. You know, which one you prefer, like this or like this? So we have, for example, we can say things like in the present perfect in English, you normally have the structure I have the verb in the verb the past participle, right, of a verb. Então it's always like have plus the past participle of a verb. So you say I have played, I have lived, I have traveled. Okay, in Portuguese we can say that too. You have this structure. So then I can say eu and then the verb ter, which is the equivalent to have. You know, ter, eu tenho in the present form. Eu tenho. And in the past participle of played, for example, is jogado. Eu tenho jogado. Or eu tenho viajado. Okay? So if I say I have traveled abroad, talking about the experience, you know, in the present perfect, that's the idea. In Portuguese, it sounds weird because I say eu tenho viajado para o exterior. And this, eu tenho viajado, I have traveled abroad, talks about an experience, something I've done in the past, you know, but an experience that I had. And eu tenho viajado, it means that it's something that I'm constantly doing, that I'm still doing, you know? So it doesn't sound natural for a Brazilian. Are you guys following? Say hi, raise your hands. Are you following? Yes? Comment if you are following what I'm saying, okay? Okay. So this translation, this literally translation, won't work for many sentences. For example, if I have a sentence like I have, oops, bicho, ai. This is summer in Brazil, guys. A lot of insects flying inside our houses. Ugh. So if I say like I have lived here for 5 years. And in Portuguese, the literal translation would be eu tenho vivido aqui por 5 anos. It is grammatically correct. It makes sense, but it's weird. It sounds weird. Sou estranho, sou esquisito. Okay? So what do we prefer to say? We're gonna see. But first, let's just another example. I have already eaten. Look, if I translate, I will say something. Eu tenho comido já. That's weird too. That's even weirder, you know, than the other sentence. And I have been to Brazil. In Portuguese, if you say eu tenho estado no Brasil, that's also awkward. Ok? Eu tenho estado no Brasil, eu tenho sido no Brasil. That's something even worse. Eu tenho sido no Brasil. That's even worse, you know? So all these examples I'm giving to you guys are not entirely correct. Okay? So all of them. Okay, guys, if you're here on Instagram and you're not following what we are saying, we're going to, you can just find our Instagram, our YouTube account today, okay? Because here I can type things and maybe you're not being able to have a better experience here on Instagram, but you can just listen if you want. Okay, continue, guys. So how we actually say things in Portuguese, okay? So there are two situations. Situation number one, when we translate the present perfect to the simple present in Portuguese. Okay, so Safe said something interesting here. Okay, eu tenho estado no Brasil 3 vezes. That sentence is the literal translation, but it doesn't make sense. So all of this here, guys, are not entirely correct. Okay, I'm just showing you. Let me write here. Not right. Okay, not right. So we're gonna talk about. We're gonna see how to say that, how to actually sound natural in Portuguese. Agora, how to, okay? Vamos lá. Correct. So the first situation is that present perfect translated to simple present. Então, ó, English present perfect translated to Portuguese simple present. That's what is going to be correct in the first part. So if I say the idea here is that something started in the past and it's still happening now. So it's something that is still happening. So if you're living in Brazil, for example, we say, I have lived in Brazil for 5 years. I've lived in Brazil for 5 years. How would you say that in Portuguese? So we took the present perfect structure, have lived, have plus the past participle. And then you're going to say, oops, no. Sorry, guys. Okay. Where? Sorry, here. Okay, back. Okay, and then you're going to say things, something like, eu moro no Brasil há 5 anos. Okay? So instead of saying eu tenho morado no Brasil há 5 anos, you say just the present. Eu moro no Brasil há 5 anos. That sounds much more natural. Eu moro no Brasil há 5 anos, not por. Okay? Por gives the idea of the past. So imagine that you lived in Brazil. The sentence was I lived in Brazil for 5 years. You started and it ended. So it's an action that was completed. So then you say eu morei no Brasil por 5 anos. That's what you said here. Eu moro no Brasil por 5 anos. So then that's not good because this preposition por gives the idea of something in the past, while a gives the idea of time, and you can use that to talk in the present. I have lived in Brazil for 5 years. Eu moro no Brasil currently há 5 anos. So it started 5 years ago and it continued now. Got it? Clear? Is it clear, guys? So it's one situation where you translate the English present perfect to Portuguese simple present. Is it clear? Just say to me. Remember, you need to comment, okay? Because that helps me to understand if you're following, okay? Okay, so we don't need a complicated or this complex and compound verb tense. We just need the present in this case. So let's see another example, okay? And I ask you, how do I say that in Portuguese? Following the logic that I just explained, okay? I have worked, you leave a comment, as a teacher since 2011. How do you say that in Portuguese? I have worked as a teacher since 2011. Write it down in the comment section. Okay? Here on Instagram, you guys can do it. And you guys here on YouTube as well. Okay? Comment below. I have worked as a teacher since 2011. How would you say that in Portuguese? Time. Time's up. We're gonna say eu trabalho como professora desde 2011. Very good, Sal. Eu trabalho como professor desde 2011. Very good. So, since is desde, and it gives this idea that something that is still true in the present. You know, it's still true now. I have worked as a teacher since 2011. Eu trabalho como professora, or como professor, if you were met, desde 2011. Okay, so I use the present because it's something that started in the past, but it still happens here in the present moment. Very good, very good. Nossa, this monster here is upsetting me. É uma mosca, uma formiga voadora. Matei. Ha, matei. Okay, so now we're gonna talk about. Okay, so I'm gonna give you another example to practice this present. Okay, this first situation, and then we can go to the second one. So if I say, so I don't know, sei lá, I have studied with Portuguese for 2 years. How do you say that? I have studied with Portuguese for 2 years. How do you say that in Portuguese? And another one, so you can think. My friend has okay, so let's do this. Okay, so how do you say these two sentences? I have studied with Portuguese for 2 years. My friend hasn't traveled to Brazil since 2020. Okay, all of them has the idea of something that is started in the past and is still happening, or something, you know. Okay, so remember that the for will be translated as a. And remember that since is going to be translated as desde. Okay? So the first one, you got it right. Eu estudo com português há 2 anos. So eu estudo in the present tense. Com português. Opa. You don't need to translate the name of the school, okay, guys? You don't need to translate that. Eu estudo com português há 2 anos. Okay, that's one thing. You know, the present here is estudo, responding to have studied. You know, this fucking beast is not dead. Not dead. Now it is, I guess. My friend hasn't traveled to Brazil since 2020. How do you say that? My friend hasn't traveled to Brazil since 2020. I will help you. Meu amigo, or minha amiga, it depends. Meu amigo não viaja in the present. It's the present tense too. Não viaja ao Brasil desde 2020. So, tips. If the sentence in English has for, is the present perfect, and has for or since, you're going to translate to Portuguese as the present. Okay? So, do you want to try? Think about something you would say in English, you know, talking about an experience that started in the past and is still happening in the present. Something that has this continuity. Just think about it and try to say the English sentence. So think about something, okay? Think about something and write in English, and you're gonna try to translate to Portuguese together, okay? While you think about it in English, we are going to talk about the second situation. So situation number 2, when we are going to translate the English present perfect as the Portuguese simple past. Okay, now we're gonna use the past. All right. So what, why, when we're gonna do that? When there is something, the idea is that something already happened and finished. It started in the past and it finished. The focus is on the result in Portuguese, not in the duration, you know? So the focus is in the result. So if I say in English, I have already eaten, how would you say that in Portuguese? We're gonna say eu já comi. And then eu já comi. I have already eaten. So the focus for us is not that it's an experience or there is some duration here. It's just that the result. Eu comi. I put something in my mouth, I chew it, and I ate it. You know, so that's why I use the past. Eu já comi. Okay, so let's think about something else. I have been to Rio 3 times. I have been to Rio 3 times. Eu estive no Rio, ou eu fui, vamos ao fui. No Rio 3 vezes. Eu fui no Rio 3 vezes. Rio de Janeiro. Okay? So, the wrong thing here would be to say eu tenho já comido. That would be weird. Eu tenho estado no Rio. That would be weird too. So we translate here for actions that has a result, a conclusion. We use here the past, the simple past in Portuguese. Okay? So let me think about something else. I have traveled to Brazil last year. How would you say that? In the sentence, write it down in the comment section here on Instagram or on YouTube. I have traveled to Brazil last year. No, last year, no. I have traveled to Brazil. Okay, just I have traveled to Brazil. Just that. Eu já viajei ao Brasil. Okay, yes. Because if you say last year, you're gonna have to use the simple past in English too. But anyway, I have traveled to Brazil. Eu viajei ao Brasil. Eu viajei ao Brasil, viajei pro Brasil. Okay? If you use already, then it's gonna be the idea of something that has a conclusion. Okay? I have already been to Salvador. Eu já fui a Salvador. Okay? And what about the question here? So if I ask you guys if you have done something, have you ever tried I don't know, moqueca? So it's a dish. How would you ask that? Have you ever tried moqueca? Yeah, so let's correct this one. Let's fix this one. Eu já viajei. Eu já viajei, like this. Not já viajado. So já viajado, it's the literal translation. You know, you're just translating traveled as the past participle. But we're not going to do that, okay? So when you talk about something that has a conclusion, you guys are going to translate the present perfect to simple past in Portuguese. Deal? So how would you say this question? Have you ever tried muqueca? Muqueca. How would you say that? Okay? Think about it. How would you say, have you ever tried muqueca? We're gonna say, você já provou muqueca? Você já provou muqueca? Ou você já experimentou muqueca? So we use the past simple. Have you ever tried muqueca? Okay? And then the answer would be in English, yes, I have. Em português, sim, já provei. Ok? Ou just sim, ou provei, já provei. Já. We normally answer with já. Já is also possible. Você já provou moqueca? Já. Or sim. Or Provei. Okay, so there are many different ways of saying something, answering a question affirmatively. So that's why there are a lot of teachers or kind of teachers that make videos online saying don't say yes, don't say sim in Portuguese. It's because you can say, we've done a video like this before. It's because you can say, yeah, of course you can say sim, it's not a problem. But you can also use different forms, like you can use the on verb, you can say just já if there is já in the question. Okay, so it depends. Okay, so guys, is it clear? Okay, so remember, in English, the focus is on experience. In Portuguese, the focus is on what matters now. Okay? So in English, again, in English, I'm gonna write so you can read. In English, the use of so remember, just so you can say in English. Uh, kind of teachers. Yes, because there are a lot of people teaching languages online and they teaching Portuguese online and they are not certified teachers, you know? I don't know if you all know, you and we have a PhD degree in linguistics. So when we teach something, especially we try to simplify everything, but a lot of knowledge behind it, you know, scientific knowledge, a lot of thought, research. You know, when we created our method, it was not something that just came out with us. You know, it was something that we actually researched about it. We actually thought about it a lot. You know, and then it came out as this method called the bicycle method, which is the methodology we use. We simplify, we bring a name, we create a name that is accessible, that you can relate, but it was something that it's something that has a scientific basis, you know. So the whole program of Yes Portuguese School is based on that, on our scientific knowledge, our studies, our researchers. So that's why I said it. No, know that I have something against those teachers. Of course, they're teaching the language, they're teaching culture, experience, but I'm also saying that it's important that you find someone with some basis, you know, some scientific base. That is also important when you're learning languages, when you're talking about language, especially comparing, you know, my subject in my PhD was comparison among languages, is, you know, so I compared Portuguese, English, and Swedish. So I saw something, a lot of things, idioms, and then I used to teach, you know, simplified, of course, but I use that. Okay, so let's go back here. So in English, simplifying this idea, this grammatical idea, in English, the focus is, oh my God, the focus is on experience, right? So you talk about experiences that start in the past, that continues in the present. You talk about something that is started and has a duration, you know. In Portuguese, the focus is on what matters now. How? Why are you saying that? Because what matters now is the result, the conclusion. So you think about it. If I use the present perfect and if I say I have done, and then I'm talking about something that it's now still matters, you know, it's still happening now, that makes sense now, the present, then you use the present simple in Portuguese. If it's something that now is concluded, it's finished, then I use the past. You got it? Is it clear? I need that to be clear. Okay? So, because if I say I have done my homework, I use, so I completed that. So I have finished that. So now you guys can believe that small insect that I killed is not killed. It's not dead. It's still flying. Oh my goodness. Okay, so here I have done my homework is finished. Okay, I started and I finished it. So eu fiz meu dever de casa. Because here I'm talking about something that ended. So that's why I use the past simple. It has now in the present, it is not happening anymore. If I say I have done the laundry, I have done the laundry for my mom since I was 12, then think about it. It is started in the past and it continues because I have the since. So it means eu lavo as roupas para minha mãe desde quando eu tinha 12 anos. So here is in the present. I have done the laundry. Eu lavo as roupas. Eu lavo as roupas para minha mãe desde meus 12 anos, desde quando eu tinha 12 anos. And yes, there are a lot of layers here. If you compare the two sentences, you're going to see that do the laundry is an expression in English. And in Portuguese, we say lavo roupa. And since I was, we can say eu era in Portuguese for ages. You had to use the ter. Then here I need to use a whole other sentence, other phrase here, to structure it correctly. So, eu lavo as roupas para minha mãe desde quando eu tinha 12 anos. So, you see, two different things with the same verb. I have done, okay? So, in the past and in the present, depending on the structure. I hope it's clear. I hope you have understood this thing here. And, okay, so think about it. Now, a gold rule, uma regra de ouro para vocês. Is this still true now? Is this still true now? If yes, present in Portuguese. If no, past in Portuguese. Okay? Always ask that. Is this still true now? If yes, oops. If you answer yes, then present tense in Portuguese. If no, then past tense in Portuguese. Okay, I think now it's very simple for you. And I hope, guys, that when you want to say something, that in your mind you started the present perfect because it's your language, your first language. When you translate to Portuguese and try to say that, you remember this. Okay, this rule. So now let's see. I need now your participation. Okay, these questions are for you. Okay, so the first one is I have studied Portuguese for 6 months. I'm going to use the present or the past. Tell me to translate the sentence. Present or the past? I'm going to put more questions here. I have already bought the ticket. Aha. So you're fast now. Now you're fast. Present. Isso. Ok. Present. Muito bem. So it's gonna be eu estudo português há 6 meses. Very good, guys. Very good. Very good. And what about this one? I have already bought the ticket. How it's gonna be? Present or past? Yeah. Past. Yeah, exactly. So I'm gonna say eu comprei a passagem. Eu já comprei a passagem. It has already. Eu já comprei a passagem. Very good. Past. Present. Just put it here because then I'm going to send that to you. Okay, so the next one. I have lived in 3 countries. I have lived in 3 countries. Present or past? This one. E aí? I have lived in 3 countries. How do you say that? In the present or in the past? Ok. Past. Muito bom, guys. Past. Eu morei em 3 países. Eu morei em 3 países. Muito bem, muito bem. Very good, pessoal. Very good. You did perfect. So there is a cute mistake, you know? Honest and cute mistake. So when someone's saying, eu tenho vivido no Brasil, this is not incorrectly grammatically speaking. It's actually correct. But it's actually sound weird. It's like if you hear Brazilians say, I am with hunger. A Brazilian trying to translate something literally. So because I am with hunger is the one-to-one translation to eu estou com fome. Eu estou com fome. And in English, you don't say I am with hunger. You say I am hungry, right? So you use an adjective, and we use the noun. Eu estou com fome. I am hungry. So it's an honest mistake, an acute mistake. I have lived in Brazil. Tenho vivido no Brasil. Tenho morado no Brasil. Not that it's wrong, okay? I'm saying just that it's more natural. Eu moro no Brasil. It's more natural than eu tenho morado no Brasil. Okay, pessoal? So it's not wrong in terms of grammar. It's weird in terms of natural speech. Okay? Okay, now imagine you arriving in Brazil and saying where you live, how long you've been there, and what you've already done. All of that without, getting stuck on grammar. You're gonna sound natural. So the thing that I want to tell you is that translating is not a problem. And it's very important that you use your native language as a support, as a background, as the source for you to learn a second language. Using your first language, your native language, will help you to evolve, in the other language, because you will make comparisons. It's very important you do these comparisons, that you think about them. And because there are some logic and there are some things that are not logic at all. Okay, so what I want, guys, is that one day, of course, you will stop translating, but in the beginning, it happens a lot. It's natural. So I'll give you an example. When I'm learning a new language, I'm learning Italian. And with Italian, I sometimes still need to translate things. With English, I don't. In English, I can just start speaking. Sometimes I miss the words and then I need a little help of Portuguese and I need to think, because English is not my native language, but I'm very comfortable with it. So I'm very comfortable with the English structures. I'm very comfortable with the English words. And I can just think in English and say what is in my mind, even if it's not completely right, and that will happen to you too, if you just have constance. You need that. You need to keep studying. You need to keep listening. You need to show up to this class. You need to watch the videos we post, the content we post on Instagram, and also from other people too. You need to read things, because reading activities help us to grow vocabulary, to create this base which is very helpful. Also, listening, watch movies, listen to music, listen to a podcast, listen to people speaking Portuguese, watch my videos on the stories where I am speaking Portuguese, because that will help you to develop the understanding of the language, And with time, you start to think in Portuguese. But for now, if you just started or if you're not comfortable with the language yet, you can translate, of course. You can do these comparisons, right? But it's very important that you learn that you sometimes this literal translation won't help you, will make you sound weird. Okay, let me see what Mary said here. When I said too much correctly, the Brazilians started oops what talking fast again, and I didn't understand. Oh, I see. I see, Mary. It happens with everyone, right? So because when you speak and people will believe that you understand and they will continue talking to you in Portuguese, and sometimes you already lost everything. You're lost again, right? It happens. Happens a lot. Because if you say that you are understanding, people will start talking blah, 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 talking Portuguese all the time. Okay, guys. So if you're new here, if you're not a yapper yet, and you'd like to know more about our program, we have this special holiday offer just to close 2025 with you having in your hands the tool that you actually need to learn Portuguese. It's everything you need actually. The whole program, our whole program with more than 300 video lessons to watch, so you can go from beginners level to advanced level. And you are also going to receive two amazing bonuses, actually three amazing bonuses. The first one is group conversation classes every week for 2 years. So it's the first bonuses. The second one, 5 individual sessions. So you can book and practice conversation, just you and a teacher, The third one is going to be the participation in our community, the Yappers community. So you receive access to the Yappers community where you interact with other students, exchange, and learn together and grow together. All right? And also, you're going to get $100 of discount if you enroll now in December. So you start 2026 already being able to say your first sentences in Portuguese. Okay, so if you want to receive the link to this offer, it's open for a limited time. If you want the link of this offer, just leave a comment, or send us a message on Instagram. Then I'm going to send you the link of enrollment. Okay, deal? So guys, thank you very much for coming here. And next week, we're going to be here again at the same time at 9:30. Invite your friends that are learning Portuguese. Tell everybody I'll be here with you live next Tuesday again. And next Tuesday is actually December 23. So you can have something magical, something special. I hope you guys join me next week. And have a great night. Okay? Tchau, tchau, gente. Obrigada. Boa noite. Tchau, tchau.